Hey guys, Payne here once again and welcome back to my Manchester United career on Football Manager 2014. Now, I have changed the format of this series just for this episode so I can see what your reactions are, whether you want to see more of this or if I go back to the way it was when I was just showing you guys 2 to 3 games every episode. So what I plan to do for this episode is just basically show you guys the fixtures that I've played, the results, who scored the goals, what we could have done better by analysing the footage of each fixture, and you guys will be able to see that throughout this episode. And also I think it'll allow me to go more in depth as well with Football Manager by showing you guys my instructions, my tactics, my training and so on. So anyway, let's get on with this episode. Let's see how we get on, and I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback in the comments below, guys. So, Manchester United's next game would be away from home against Norwich at Carrow Road, and as you can see right there, the final score did end 1-1. It was Rooney that got the only goal for Manchester United. He also got booked, so did Luke Shaw and Phil Jones. It would be Leroy Fer getting Norwich's equaliser in the 60th minute, not far removed from Rooney's goal. As you can see, it was a pretty tight game as well. I was disappointed considering that we've been on such a roll this season so far. We haven't lost a game in the Premier League, and this was our first game where we've actually drawn and we come away with a point. Disappointed with my players, you know, average rating around about 6.7, 6.8. We'll go across now to have a look at Rooney's goal. But as you can see, it's an absolute battle in midfield. That's where the majority of the ball was being kept. Well, we'll switch to... I'll go for Rail here for this this view of Wayne Rooney's goal. The first one against Norwich. So it was Jones to Herman. Look at Rooney. Norwich failed to close him down, as you can see. Very simple goal. And can we go... maybe go back? Oh no, that's just going to replay things here, isn't it? And that's just going to switch through highlights. I want to see if I could go back to Rooney's goal. Can I not do that? That's the corner. Right, hold on. I've never actually done this before. I'll just go back to that one. There we go. So if we just pause this now, and I'll go for close now, which was the camera angle that I was always using earlier on in my series. So as you can see, Rooney's goal again. Herman picking out Rooney easily. He just knocks that into the corner. We'll go. Can we go back further? Yeah. And you'll see Norwich's mistake. Kind of going all Sky Sports on this now with meets Gary Neville beside me. Can we go to touch? Oh, that's much better. So in this still shot, as Jones is about to make the pass to Herman. I mean, this Norwich player here should be really closing Jones down to put him under pressure. And Carrido as well should be on top of Patrick Herman, trying to force him either onto his weaker foot or to maybe just knock the ball away. And I mean, Norwich, they've got 3-4 players that could be doing the job of shutting Rooney down and stopping him from scoring this opening goal against their team. And of course, Rooney goes on to just slot the ball into the bottom left-hand corner. Rooney dancing away. We'll go now and have a look at... oh shoot, I didn't want to do that. Go to fixtures. We'll go now and have a look. You get a quick glimpse of all the other fixtures that I've played. We'll have a look at Leroy Fer's goal now for Norwich to put them back on level terms. And this was kind of a pick that one out moment. Curled the ball around De Gea. Can we rewind that a bit now? Getting the hang of this. I haven't ever really analysed footage this much before. Now, I believe that's Michael Carrick that's working with Phil Jones, trying to close down Johnson. Doing a fantastic job, but Johnson manages to swing in that pass anyways. You've already seen. We'll switch that to close. You'll get a better look at this. But I'm confident that Phil Jones can get that job done. So really, Michael Carrick should be heading back into the box as extra support. But look at them. Both Jones and Carrick holding hands almost. And Fer was just given so much space that he could have taken one or maybe even another touch, and he would have been able to run that ball into the back of the net. He would have been one-on-one with De Gea. I doubt Vertonghen and Johnny Evans would have been able to track back quick enough before Fer dispatched the ball from his foot. But I suppose it is what it is. I'm just devastated that we couldn't have won against Norwich, but it was kind of to be expected, seeing that they are fighting for that survival. Even though it's still early days in the Premier League, they haven't had the best of starts to their campaign. I did bring on Juan Mata and Danny Welbeck in the second half, hoping that maybe they could add a bit of spice to the game, taking off Van Persie, who certainly didn't have the best of games. I was disappointed in him. He does seem to be taking his foot off the pedal recently, Van Persie. Last season, I got so much out of him. I know there's been so many people in the forums on various websites saying about Robin van Persie, saying, I just can't get the best out of him. But last season I managed to get a total of 34, 35 goals out of him, so not too bad. This season he's already Premier League's top goal scorer with, I think it's something like 11 goals. Well, it's still early days, but there's still room for him to improve, even at the age of 31, 32 now. Oh, look at that. That's every pass we made, whether it be completed, running past the opposition, being offside, getting intercepted and so on. Mental. And that was a perfect example of the game actually being played in midfield. As we can see here as well, we got the movements, and as you can see, it's the majority of the time it's down the right side for Manchester United, and that's running past opponents. That would be Patrick Herrmann down the right side. You know, he's just fantastic at doing that. Anyway, let's move on to our next game. So United's next game was midweek. It was in the Champions League group stages. It was against Anderlecht, and we did win 1-0. So we're close now to actually qualifying. As you can see, here's my starting 11. I went with Danny Welbeck up front, had Kagawa, Mata, Herrmann, Cleverley and Carrick in midfield, Luke Shaw, Johnny Evans, Garay and Phil Jones, and Lindegaard in goal. Now, I did plan ahead because our next game was on the weekend against Stoke, and I needed both Van Persie and Rooney fully fit, so they were rested for this one. In came Mata and Welbeck, and I thought, you know, they're the perfect players to come in and replace them, especially Mata as well, who's just coming back from that injury that he had, which saw him out for 2 to 3 months. So I saw this as the perfect opportunity for him to get his first full game under his belt. You know, I've brought him on a couple of times as a sub, but he's just not as good as it as actually starting out from the very first minute. And speaking of Mata, he was the one that got the first and only goal of the game. So let's go and see how it all came about, how Mata actually scored the goal. So Jones with a throw to Herrmann, Michael Carrick, Cleverley, Kagawa. Kagawa's so unselfish, like he could have had a shot there. Let's rewind it a bit, see, get a better angle as well once I finish. So I'll go for, shall I go for, no, I'll go for touchline. Get rid of that, can I get rid of that? There we go, press play, and then we'll go through it again. So Herrmann with the header back out to Michael Carrick, who's been put under pressure. I'll slow it down as well, it's a bit too fast. Carrick to Cleverley, and look at Kagawa, look at the space he was given there to actually maybe take a shot of his own. So unselfish of Kagawa, it's brilliant to see. But Herrmann, as you can see, with that header, just on the outside of the area. Now, this player here for Anderlecht, not too sure what he's doing, as you'll see. Kind of looks like a headless chicken. He's just all the way out in the middle, not doing much, not covering for his own team, just staying stationary as though his zonal marking. And Kagawa being closed down by 2-3 players, could have potentially passed that to Luke Shaw down the left side, plenty of space. But no, he decides to go straight up the middle, finding Mata, who's, again, you know, surrounded by 3, 4, 5 players, and he still manages to squeeze off a shot and beat the goalkeeper, getting that first goal for Manchester United, and the only goal, which sees us pick up those 3 points. Now let's go across to overview, and it would be, as you can see, Phil Jones that picked up the Man of the Match award for this game, and you know, he totally deserved it, simply because, you know, he was keeping that back four for United so tight and so in shape. Anderlecht, they had 11 shots in total, 4 on target. So not too much for the back four to actually do. They wasn't really working us. As you can see, I did bring on James Wilson and Wilfried Zaha, giving the youngsters a chance in the Champions League, and they did okay, to be fair. I mean, James Wilson, I'm trying to introduce very slowly into the starting 11 simply because of his age, as well as Januzaj, who didn't actually start. Well, I didn't even bring him on in the second half. He didn't start the game. Let's just go across to James Wilson now. His form hasn't been too bad, but I know he can get better given time. His average rating overall for those games that I have brought him on as a sub is 6.53, and I think that's pretty good for a substitute. I think that there is just non-competitive. That was the pre-season where we got that goal. He hasn't scored a goal yet, but I think as it goes on this season, guys, I'm going to be starting James Wilson a lot more, especially if Van Persie starts to go off the rails a bit. I can see that potentially happening. It's been looking a bit shaky for him at the moment, so maybe James Wilson is a player that I'll definitely be bringing into the side. But anyway, moving on to our next game and our last game to go over in this episode. It was against Stoke, and we absolutely dominated this game. 64% possession in total, and the game ended 3-0. Rooney, Zaha and Patrick Herrmann getting on the score sheet, and we had so many yellow cards in this game. It's probably because I had the instructions set to hard on the opposition's instructions. So I think I'll probably be switching that up next time. But you had Evra, Cleverley, Evans and Carvalho and Jones all getting booked in this game. So we need to be careful on that. I'll probably be switching it to normal for future upcoming games. So we'll just have to see how it goes. As you can see, that was the Manchester United side that I went with that got themselves the victory over Stoke. Rooney and Van Persie returning to the team after being rested midweek. And look at that as well. Stoke actually have Nemanja Matic on their side as a central defensive midfielder. Why would Mourinho let him go? He's kind of a new signer for Chelsea. It kind of caught me off guard when I saw that. Anyway, let's go and have a look at the goals and let's see how they came about after this horrible loading screen. Generating match report. Come on, let's see the highlights. So Rooney's goal was up first. Here we go. We're set to switch it to close, shall we? That's much better. So it's Patrick Herrmann trying to run past his opponent, almost got intercepted, but he picked up the loose ball, crossed it in, trying to find Van Persie. He did. Robin Van Persie did try to have a shot, trying to squeeze something off, but the two centre-halves, I think it was Nzonzi and someone else, I didn't quite catch his name, that just closed him down, deflected the ball. But Rooney thankfully was in there to finish up the attack and just slot the ball into the bottom corner. We'll switch this to... No, that's not going to work because that's for the replays. We'll go for close. No, actually, we'll go for touchline. I think that will probably help us out. There we go. So here comes the cross from Patrick Herrmann. And we'll pause it right there. There's the two centre-halves stifling Van Persie. And it's almost as if the ball was like a pip from an apple between your thumb and finger. And you just squeezed it out and it landed to Wayne Rooney. And he just put that into the bottom left-hand corner. And you'll just see it again. It came as Van Persie went to hit it. It glanced off Nzonzi and Rooney made that run inside and slotted it into the back of the net, and goalkeeper for some reason didn't even come out and challenge for the ball. So there we have it, 1-0 up, and we'll move on to Zaha's goal next. And what we'll do here, we'll have a look at the goal from the close camera first. There we go. So Patrick Herrmann back to Phil Jones after that throw, looking for that overlap, and that's a special goal. It really is. And we'll rewind. I think this is probably, do you reckon this is the best angle to see it from? So look at Jones and Herrmann causing so many problems for Stoke. Look at the amount of space. I mean, Peters, Huth, Shawcross, they should all be there. Nemanja Matic as well as that central defensive midfielder should be pulling in, making it tighter for, you know, Herrmann and Jones to maybe get something going for Manchester United. And what a cross by Phil Jones. And just look at the spacing and the positioning of Wilfried Zaha there. You know, it's almost as if these two, I think that may be Shotton and Shawcross, but they've forgotten about Zaha at the far post here. And props to Phil Jones delivering that ball fantastically. And that is something special from Zaha on the volley. And with that, we move on to the next goal. So 2-0 up against Stoke, going into the second half. Look at Herrmann and Phil Jones working wonders together again. And we'll just rewind that again. We'll press pause. Just see it over and over. So it's Cleverley, who was on a yellow card, found Herrmann, was pushing his way on the inside, playing more narrower, found that overlap with Phil Jones, as you'll see here. But what is Kim, if we push forwards, what is Kim doing here for Stoke? Why is he so far forwards? Why isn't he tracking back, trying to support his left back? And look at Matic as well. You think with these two running side by side that they would join up somewhere around about the 6-yard box, but no, Matic stays exactly where he is, and that allows Patrick Herrmann to make it 3-0 to United. Obviously, I'm happy about that, but if I was the manager of Stoke and, you know, I've spent all this money on Matic and that happens, I wouldn't be too happy. Maybe that's why Mourinho got rid of him, who knows. But anyway, Phil Jones came away with the Man of the Match award, fully deserved. He was the main cog for Manchester United in this game. He was the one that delivered when we needed him the most. Anyway guys, that's the end of this episode. Hope you've all enjoyed. Do let me know what you think of the new format, and I'll see you all very soon for the next one. Thanks for watching.